my eyes.
No, you're good. What's going on, Navaless community? Mohawk Matt once again. I know I look different. I have not seen you since I shaved. It looks ridiculous, but it happened. Get over it. I'm over it. I'm not. It's driving me crazy. So today I have got some awesome folks from Marine Corps Logistics Command, and I'm going to bring him on screen with me. I've got Lieutenant Colonel Kirk Spangenberg. How's it going, sir? Oh, we might have lost him.
No, that hit the wrong button there. My back?
We lost your video.
Okay, so the video should be coming back up here in a second. I hope I'm not off on my end, but hopefully it'll come back.
Maybe try turning it off and on and off again real quick.
Okay, let me try that. Stop video.
So while he's fixing his video, folks, what we're doing is these guys have been spending an entire week doing some of these training courses. There we go. And we're just going to talk to them and see what their experience has been. All right, you there?
I am.
Fantastic. So your video is frozen, but that's okay. We all know what you look like, or they all know now.
Yeah, hopefully it's not frozen in a really weird face.
It's semi. It's like a 5 out of 10.
Okay, that's about right.
So tell us who you are in the Marine Corps and what your role is as far as a Marine goes.
So sure, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Kirk Spangenberg. I am the director of the Weapon Systems Management Center here at Marine Corps Logistics Command, based out of Albany, Georgia. And within the Weapon Systems Management Center, what we do is basically for the Marine Corps ground equipment, we do inventory management, which basically means we ensure that the right equipment is in the right place and the right condition in the Marine Corps. And we do depot level maintenance production. We don't turn the wrenches. The other parts of LOGCOM do that, but we ensure that the process that make sure that the equipment gets through depot level maintenance, which usually involves like some larger scale rebuild of an entire weapon system, complete refurbishment, turn it to like new status. We ensure that process happens on time, on schedule, at the right cost and at the right quality. We sort of run herd over that process. And we also do weapon system lifecycle support. And in that, we interface with our counterparts at Marine Corps Systems Command and Program Executive Office Land Systems, all the program offices in there that sort of manage those programs. We provide support in terms of product support strategies and keeping a pulse out in the Fleet Marine Force, what's going on with the weapon systems and whether the trends and the problems that need to be addressed across the entire Marine Corps enterprise. And that's really what we do for the Marine Corps as a part of LOGCOM.
That's fantastic. I know I just learned a lot. Even as a Marine, I don't even think I knew LOGCOM existed. I obviously wasn't in that MOS realm. So it's a different world. I want us to shout out, what's up, Troy? So anyone that's joining out there, let us know you're there. Kirk here, excuse me, Colonel Spangenberg will be taking some questions. If anyone has them for whatever you want, whether it's Marine related or what they've been learning related, excuse me. So how did you get involved and exposed to the Centers for Adaptive Warfighting, sir?
So that's a great question. I started that the Centers for Adaptive Warfighting offer and train. So we got some folks sent to the classes, and sent to the remote classes and the in-person classes, and then began to work with Mike Lavery and Roy Nanku and Mackenzie Gage to think about, I'd really like to just embark on a very bold, full-scale, whole of center agile transformation. And we began planning on, what would it take to do that? And we came up with this model of a week long, we'd come down here, and we ended up doing it virtually because some, the concerns of the day with COVID and everything else. But, and plus a lot of our workforce is remote now anyway, so learning this way is helpful. But, we took, 2 days Warfighter Center design, 2 days military scrum, and then this final Friday of executive leaders course, we can get at every level enough folks, core trained to launch a full scale agile transformation that we expect to, embed into WSMC and then sort of inkblot style, insurgency style, kind of spread across the LogCom enterprise. That's the sort of the stretch goal. So I'm pretty excited about it, and that was probably more than what you asked, Matt, but that's sort of the essence of it.
Hey, no, that's all right. That's fantastic, and it's great to see the passion that you've had as since we early met last year. I've seen your journey of learning more and more and becoming more and more involved in it, and that's fantastic. Also, shout out to John Keating from Jacksonville. What's up, John? And Joseph Pierce. Welcome, everyone. Looks like Roy's connecting with you already. He's doing his super connector stuff. So yeah, Kirk. So I want to talk to the reason that I call you Kirk and what that's been like, going through all these courses, both this week and in general, coming from someone with your Marine Corps career where it's all rank, and now you're being taught through these courses, hey, to do this kind of stuff, take that off. What's that experience been like?
So that's another great question. A lot of folks can get really uncomfortable with that, and it doesn't really bother me too much, though. In some of the previous work I did, there's a little bit of scar tissue there because in Marines, rank has meaning, right? And chain of command has meaning, and there's a certain degree of, we don't want to violate that. We have a culture and that we stick to those things for very specific reasons that we don't want to violate. However, when we do some of these exercises and some of the workshops, one of the principles that was really important to employ was every voice matters. And as Marine leaders, we understand that, or at least we should understand that we're rarely the smartest people in the room. That's not really why we're in the positions that we're in, right? But we do need to employ the smartest people in the room. And a shout out to General Alford out there, who's my battalion commander as a lieutenant colonel, and he always used to say, I don't got to be the smartest guy in the room. He usually was anyway. He just won't tell you that. But he just has to be able to employ the smartest people in the room. But when you take the rank off and you put on a collared shirt or whatever and call people by their first names, and we're obviously professional about it, but the guard gets down a little bit. The rank bias goes away. We sort of lose that. I got to defer to that other guy because he's higher ranked than me or she's higher ranked than me. Or I don't pay as much attention to that person's idea because they're a lower rank. And so we really want to avoid that when we're trying to tackle complex problems and get after the solutions that are of greatest value. So we find that the ideas come and that the people who have those ideas have to be empowered to speak out and offer it and not be, overcome by someone else who's higher rank who feels like they have to control the conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. That's the core reasons of why we do it. So it's a fantastic explanation. So thankfully this is recorded. We just have people watch this from now on. So we got a few more joins here. We got Captain Aaron Barlow, of course. Captain Barlow, what's up? He says, maybe the biggest initial buy from any organization. It'll be awesome to see how that investment pays off.
Say that one more time.
So Aaron Barlow here said, this may be it's not a question, just a comment. This may be the biggest initial buy from any organization. It will be awesome to see how that investment pays off.
Yeah, so I think I could confirm that based off the discussions from the folks here. This is, while the CAW has helped a number of organizations kick off agile transformations with training and that sort of thing. This might be the first time we've taken a full-scale unit of this size and done a full week, with at every level of the organization, from the team, individual employee, the team, to the division, to the center, and at scale, kind of, embark on a bold transformation. So we're really looking forward to, seeing how that plays out.
Fantastic. It's well, don't worry, you know me, so I'll be following you along the way and share those goods and bads and all the above, all the lessons learned for the next group.
Right on.
A couple other comments real quick here. We've got what's up, Ed, from Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of people from
my hometown.
Yeah, there you go. Also, Michael Snyder says, this is fantastic to see the Marines leading the way of bringing these practices back through the ranks and commands. To that point, who was in the room this week? Was what Marines or what levels of rank or whatever on the civilian side were in the room? Was it?
So we have here at the Weapons Systems Management Center, WSMC, we have, like I said, about 116, 117 Marines and employees, of which 16 of them are active duty Marines, mostly senior staff NCOs. I have a couple of chief warrant officers, a captain, and me, and then some master sergeants and gunnies and staff sergeants. And the rest are civilian employees from the sort of the GS9 all the way up to GS15 level, and broken down into individual teams of 4 to 6 people, up to divisions of 4 teams each, and then there's 6 divisions in the center.
Fantastic, appreciate that. So it sounds like, for anyone that didn't catch that, these courses are applicable to anybody. There is no right or wrong Marine or person to send here. Also, we got a shout out from Peter Brown, calling from the headquarters Marine Corps INL. So I think INL is up your guys' alley.
I know Pete.
Good guy there. Here's a question from Michael Snyder. How are these teams getting their innovative ideas and concepts into production to let the warfighters work with it?
So the question was, how are the teams that we're training getting their ideas into production? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. How do they get their innovative ideas and concepts into production so the warfighters can work with it?
So that's a good question. And, that's something that we're actually getting ready to work through. Right now, I mean, there's always the opportunity here for the individual employees to raise an idea, propose it to the chain of command, as there is anywhere. But what we're going to start here based off some of the tenets we learned this week is what I'm calling Pitch Fridays. When you go through warfighter centered design, you go through this exercise called Building the Mountain, where you're kind of describing all the things that are in status quo and the things that are terrible that get in your way. And then you describe that utopia on the top of the mountain. If everything was perfect, this is what it would look like. And then you go inside the mountain and identify those things that help you get from that status quo state up to that nirvana state, and pick out those things that you can go after. And what some of the folks, what they learn how to do is, go through that, thought process and mental exercise to build a 2 to 3 minute pitch to get after an idea, a process improvement, a product to make, or whatever it is, and pitch it to leadership. So I said, that's really cool. And it'd be great if we just set aside an hour every week. So I think I call it Pitch Fridays, and we'll see if that schedule works out or not. But in any team, any group of employees, Marines in the center who can get enough, team to eat through a pizza, to go through the mountain building exercise, and come up with a pitch, we'll just get it on the schedule for the next Pitch Friday, and that's your opportunity. And no chain of command approval is required in order to do that. And we'll get you, compensated for we'll get you a challenge going. We'll get you a 59-minute rule or something like that. We haven't quite worked all that out yet, but some recognition for taking the time to build a pitch for an idea that can make our lives better or make our service to the Marine Corps better. A quick anecdote also is we have another group of, even before we got into this training, some of our folks who had attended some of the previous CAW courses came up with a dashboard product that would make inventory management decisions and activities more efficient and easier and more accurate for the inventory manager, called the Inventory Management Decision Support Tool. A shout out to my employee, Kendall Outlaw, who led that effort. And just they just did it and built it and, understood that, from the guidance that I put out, that this is some of the things we want to get after. They had an idea that, hey, we have something that we think will make that better. And they just developed it. So
that's great.
It's kind of happened on a constant basis.
That's fantastic. And that same Michael had asked that question just through a hashtag awesome. So he liked your answer.
Right on.
Also a quick, before a couple more questions here. But John Keating, shout out to Charleston Naval X. So I guess he's involved with the Naval X Tech Bridge down there. So that's fantastic. Here's one from, I'm going to slaughter your name, so I apologize. Anish Akbar Ukda. And it says, good evening, sir. Lieutenant Akbar here. Do we still have vacancies for the Marine Corps Logistics Association?
So, okay, now you're talking about the other hat that I wear, which is the Vice President of Operations for the Marine Corps Logistics Association. Oh, I think hopefully I didn't get kicked out here.
No, I can still see you, hear you.
All right, or it was the Association of Marine Corps Logisticians. And so, yeah, there's the executive committee is about to change over on that. And we're getting ready to kick off, calendar year 2021's agenda with a lot of exciting stuff going on. So there's plenty of opportunity to get involved in that organization. You can check it out at MarineCorpsLogistics.org. I think I can say that because I'm after hours on personal computer.
Yep, you're good.
Attire, so, hopefully I didn't violate any rules there.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So excellent. Thank you. Another one, or a comment, not a question, from let's see where to go. From Matt Evers. Pretty sure you know who that is. So he said, "Raw, sir, glad to see Agile and Scrum at the enterprise level. My maintenance management chief has fully embraced it, and we are pulling backlog."
Right on.
He also adds a question. Sir, is there any more development with the condition-based maintenance plus?
So, yes, a couple things going on with that. The folks I used to work with up until this past summer up in INL just a couple weeks ago hosted a demonstration out in 29 Palms on the minimum viable product, or MVP, for condition-based maintenance, where they installed some hardware on some MTVRs, some medium tactical vehicles, and medium lift vehicles, 7-ton trucks, as well as the new joint light tactical vehicle that allows us to pull directly from that vehicle's onboard computer and all the sensors that are already on those computers that tell us what's going on with the engine and whatnot. Pull that information off, wirelessly transmit it to a local server, and get it into a place where we can put it out to the vendor out there as uptake, and they're taking it and ingesting all that data and returning it out to the unit to show this is the real-time health of what's going on with those vehicles, to help plan maintenance in advance, catch the faults before they occur. It's proven that we could do that. We did it with the M88, where we predicted engine failures before they occurred, and that was really good stuff. And so that's one thing going on, and the headquarters Marine Corps is working hard to scale that capability in the years to come. Secondly, we just hosted here at LogCom this week. Colonel Kevin Collins from Combat Development Directorate up at headquarters Marine Corps came down here he's the director of the Logistics Combat Element Integration Division, and he was bringing up that one of the real values of Condition-Based Maintenance Plus is really at the enterprise level, where we can be much more efficient and effective in sustaining ground equipment over its life cycle, using the capabilities of Condition-Based Maintenance Plus, especially as we work through force design. We reduce the volume of equipment that the Marine Corps has to care for, and thus the requirement that it's got to be available at a much higher percentage of the time. And when we think about fighting in the Pacific with distributed operations, far away from their log bases, far away from their supply lines, that gear has to work, and it has to work all the time. And so you don't just have spares laying around necessarily, because you got small units. So you have to have a much more precise and insightful view of what's going on with that health of that equipment. So conditions-based maintenance has a huge role to play there, and LogCom as the enterprise logisticians, where the things that should happen in a centralized way, with the gathering of the data and the processing of the data and all that sort of thing to return those insights to the Marines, LogCom should rightfully have a large role to play there.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And another question here is, have you received feedback from your staff or team so far about how this week went?
So we had some real-time feedback during the training. We did the, are we really happy? Are we partially happy kind of thing? And so generally speaking, it was, we got a lot of really positive feedback. The challenges were that the things that sometimes brought us down were mostly technology related. There's some real challenges with doing this remotely, with the tools that are available. I mean, Miro, which was a fantastic tool. It has to go through a process to be able to be authorized use on the Marine Corps Enterprise Network. So we're doing it distributed a lot of time with people on their home computers, on their home networks, and that caused us a few hiccups early on that we had to work through. So those were some of the things that sort of brought us down a little bit. But largely speaking, I think the feedback in real time was, hey, we really like the way that this is going, and I detected a degree of excitement on, hey, this can maybe help us get after it. And somebody just had to take a shot. I said, get after it. But let me in raw sort of feedback.
Sure.
There's also a little bit of skepticism, quite frankly, when like, hey, this Scrum stuff is really great, but man, it's really hard to focus when every 5 minutes we're getting a helmet fire RFI, a request for information coming out of higher headquarters that we got to drop everything and go answer that right now. And it makes it really hard to, how can I do a sprint or plan my time if that's happening all the time? So we as leaders, we have to use these processes to provide our Marines, our employees, top cover to be able to do what they got to do. So there's some good feedback.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. And I thought we were going to be done, but I keep getting more questions. This one's from Pete Brown again. He says, how are you working with the Marine Corps Reserve?
So the reserves have equipment like everybody else, and so that equipment and managing it is in our portfolio. So as you may know, all the reserve units across the country have a training allowance of what they keep on site, and in the event of their activation, the remainder of that gear is sort of held in LogCom inventory, which is called the delta, the difference between their training allowance and what their full-up table of equipment would be if they were a fully activated unit. And part of LogCom's job is to maintain that gear in the event that those units need it. So we don't do a lot right now directly working with having reservists on site or whatever. We haven't done much of that, at least since I've been here in the last 4 months or so. But what we do is focus a lot on what's going on with that equipment.
Fantastic. I pulled a muted mic move there. So Ed, before we go, sir, would you recommend this? This is probably a loaded question because I think I know where your answer is going to go. But what would you say to someone that's maybe on the fence or like interested in this, but like maybe not sure?
So there's always gonna be a little bit of skepticism out there, especially from folks who are perhaps been around a while and seen some of these things. Like when I was early in my career, it was Franklin Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective people, and then I had to do that, and then that was total quality management, and I had to do that, and total quality leadership, and whatever. And so, like, gosh, is it just another one of those? And what I would offer you is, first, the answer is no. It's not that. It's very complementary to things like the Marine Corps planning process, and it fits right in with problem framing and COA development and that whole thing. It doesn't have to be just another thing that I have to learn. So it's like PME. There's always room to learn more. There's always room to put another tool in your tool bag. And man, I would say give it a shot. Go take the training. And the worst that can happen is you learn something new, right? But I think it's transformative. And if you really kind of ingest it and you can embrace it and understand the why of why it works, and it can radically change the way you do business, increase your velocity of work, increase your productivity by orders of magnitude if you're able to get it employed in the right way. So the worst you can do is, well, I took 2 days of training and I decided I didn't want to do it, I guess, and you didn't really lose anything except some time. But my suspicion is, in the vast majority of cases, it's going to be a tremendous amount of value added to your productivity and frankly to your enjoyment of what you do.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Also a shout out to Brandon Smart, who is now watching with us. So,
right on. I know Brandon Smart too.
Definitely. Well, hopefully if you don't know him, know that he was involved in all of this. We're all here.
Right
we're all here because of him. And so, and let's see. Also, I'm going to ask a question, Kirk, real quick. If muted Mike or Mike Lavery's on the line, ask him to jump on Zoom with us real quick. So Mike is the CAW director for NavalX. Mike, I want to know what excites you about being able to train an entire command like what happened this week with LogCom folks.
Well, it's just great to actually have opportunity to train an organization that has buy-in from the top and the bottom. And at first we weren't sure how it was going to go. And in my opinion, we've exceeded expectations because by day 2 and 3, the team had bought into it. And I feel like yes, they're I'm not trying to paint a perfect utopia, but I think we set them up for success and they set themselves up for success because they did all the hard work this week and we were just there. Captain Fletcher likes to say, we were shepherding them to success. So, and I wish them all the luck. And we will be, and this goes for any organization that we touch with, we continue the relationship. We're not just going to disappear into the sunset.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Kirk, anything you want to leave? Let's see, jump back to, here, of course, I go to leave and there's more questions for you. Actually, it's comments from Brandon Smart. Pete Brown was giving Brandon some muscles, and Brandon responded in the typical Brandon way. Pete Brown, it's a group success. No one person did anything. I'm just glad to watch this spark become a flame. And I think that's the best way to say that, and that's what the CAW has been. Anyone that isn't as familiar, I don't think anyone could shut down the CAW if they tried to. Because it's the grassroots sparks that from every direction, they're just now making this beautiful, glorious flame. And you guys have led the way doing that this week. So thank you for taking a chance and running with it, sir.
Right on. As you know, this, I think in addition to being consistent with, what Secretary Gertz has been wanting to do, it's right up in there with what General Berger had put out in the Commandant's planning guidance, where one of those things was really leverage the talent of the individual Marine, and that, you know, using these processes and thinking in agile and getting the voice of everybody in the room does that. It leverages the talent of the individual Marine. And man, it's, you know, as leaders, we know that we'll constantly be amazed with what our Marines and what our civilian Marines and employees can do if empowered and given the opportunity to do it. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of that.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate you sharing your time with us, and a couple other shout outs. We got a number of people being tagged, so thanks for everyone for sharing the love out there. Roy Nanku, well, I guess he's in both places. He's watching LinkedIn and he's in the class right now. He throws the light or the comment of, don't try to change the world. Grab hold of those sparks and light it ablaze. Fail fast, fix fast, and get after it.
Yeah, that's right. All you can do is, you know, what I learned at the basic school is when you occupy a position, you start improving upon that position as soon as you get there. You dig that fighting hole a little deeper, you pound in some Amy stakes, you know, build up the berm, add overhead cover, whatever it is that you're going to do, you improve that position until you leave. And as Marines, we move around a lot, right? But so you get into a place and figure out, okay, how can I dig that fighting hole a little deeper? So that's what we're doing.
Fantastic. And this one's gonna right back to you. You said some good things about Brandon. Right back at you, sir. Colonel Spangenberg operates at the highest level, so keep doing the things you're doing. Clearly, it's working, and people believe in you, and you're leading the way as the Marine yourself, sir. So, last chance. And if anyone has one last question for him, I'll hang him for one more. Or, sir, anything else you want to share with just your experience, or like, this is your chance. You get our like 43 people that are watching with us right now. You can tell them anything you want.
Well, I guess in closing, I would just say that, you know, there's, I've learned a lot since coming down to Marine Corps Logistics Command about just what this organization does and how critical it is for the Marine Corps. We had an opportunity to show that off this week to some visiting senior leaders, and it's an exciting time. So having the opportunity to bring in the agile mindset, to learn Scrum techniques and warfighter-centered design, to enable our LogCom teammates to just increase productivity, increase the support that we provide the Marines out in the leading edge, is just, I mean, there's nothing better than that, right? You know, it's easy to get tired and frustrated sometimes in the day-to-day, just like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. It's just, sometimes it gets really frustrating, and, you know, the jobs get that way from time to time. And then you pause and you do something like this, and it just energizes you because, man, this is really cool. And what we can do now for the Marines out there, for the Marine Corps, I mean, just to see what will happen when we grow that capability, it's just going to be awesome. So if you're out there watching, man, get involved in these courses, go learn some stuff, you know, never lose sight about why we do what we do. And it's for the Marines, for the Marine Corps. And I'll stop talking there because
that's all. You said it there, sir. You said everything you need to say. That was perfect. Well, thanks everyone for joining. And Colonel Spangenberg, really appreciate you being not only the things that you do for the Marine Corps, but also joining us tonight. And if anyone wants to talk more about their experiences, I'm working with them to capture some more videos and vignettes and stories of their experiences. Also, reach out to them. Kirk is a big fan or guy of LinkedIn. So if you got questions or comments, I'm sure, Kirk, you're willing to share your lessons learned with other people, right?
Absolutely. Connect on LinkedIn and, you know, shoot me a message or what have you.
There you go. Well, thanks everyone for joining. There you go. That too. Thanks for joining everyone. Have a great night and a great weekend. We'll see you.
Thanks, Matt.
Hurrah.